Hey guys, it's Dev here, and welcome back to Road to Ark Survival Evolved for the PS4 here on the channel. Today we are actually going to be doing tools and weapons for Ark Survival. And just a disclaimer now, I will leave out a few things with the weapons, like some of the explosives and shields and that stuff, just to keep this video time down, because I know it's going to get pretty lengthy with a lot to cover. So let's get right into it. First off, for the tools is actually the stone pick, which is the first item that you can actually craft. Which you need just your wood and stone, which you can get from trees. But anyways, the stone pick allows you to harvest things such as thatch from trees, raw meat from corpses of dinosaurs, and flint from rocks. Next off, we got the stone hatchet, which is actually unlocked at level 2, and you have to have 3 engram points to craft it. And the stone hatchet will get the items that you can't get with the stone pick, such as wood from trees, hide from dinosaur corpses, and stone from rocks. So moving on, we have the torch next up, which is actually used mostly, I think, for warmth and also light in caves, and you can throw it, but not really much to say on that, just because it's pretty self-explanatory. Moving on, the metal pick, which is actually the upgraded version of the stone pick, and you have to be at level 25 and have 6 engram points to unlock it, and you craft that on the smithy, and it allows you to harvest metal from mountain rocks at a higher rate than you would with your other picks and stuff. So moving on to the metal hatchet now, which is just an upgrade of the stone hatchet, which really doesn't have any like specific bonus other than it has a higher gathering speed. And that's also unlocked at level 25 for 6 engram points and is crafted on the smithy. Alright, moving on to an item that I am actually not too familiar with, being the metal sickle. It's a tool used to just harvest fibers at a higher rate than by hand, and it's unlocked at actually level 30 for 12 engram points. And you craft it on the smithy, as the other metal tools are. So now moving on to a different category, moving on to the actual weapons. And we're starting off with the melee weapons. So on screen now you're seeing the spear, which is item that you can actually use. It's really the first melee weapon that you'll ever craft and can be unlocked for 3 engram points at level 2. You can use it to harvest things, but you really don't want to, because then it'll break. And then you can also throw this item. So on screen right now you'll see a screenshot from the trailer, and you can see the players are like back with the spears, like they're about to throw it. Well, you actually can, so that's a cool feature to this. Now moving on to the upgraded version of the spear, you're seeing the pike, which is a metal version, and it has good weight, and it has a lot better durability than the spear would, which has a chance to break pretty much any time you use it. And it is crafted on the smithy. Sorry there, I just couldn't even get my words out of my mouth. But moving on from that, and the pike costs 10 engram points to unlock. Moving on to one of the funniest weapons, the wooden club, because you can knock people out. And it's used to inflict torpor, which is actually, which is actually used to immobilize players and small creatures. And once they're unconscious and stuff, for the dinosaurs, you can tame them. You can't tame people. That'd be really weird if you could. Well, anyways, that is unlocked at level 3 for 4 engram points. You can also use it to harvest organic polymer, which becomes a big factor in the game once you get into the more in-depth stuff. So moving on from the next item, we have the metal sword, which is actually an upgraded version of even the pike. So this can be used along with a shield, which we are not covering in this video just because they're pretty self-explanatory and they're just different types of shield. So the metal sword can be unlocked at level 30 for 11 Ingram points and is crafted along with a lot of other items on the smithy. Moving on to another item that I didn't even know existed in the game, to be quite honest with you, because not many people use it, the electric pod. So this weapon is unlocked at level 80 for 60 Ingram points, and it's actually crafted on the fabricator. And it is used to knock out people like the wooden club, and it applies 266 torpor. So it's a really good item for that. But the thing with this electrical pod is it breaks after one single use, so it's kind of a pricey item to make for just one use. Now moving on to a different type of weapon, we got the weapons that you can shoot from range. So starting off, the slingshot, which is the first weapon you'll definitely ever get, I think, unless you wait to make your wooden bow. But anyways, you use stones to shoot as your ammo, and then it actually inflicts mostly torpor, so you can get a nice dinosaur right off the bat for that. And moving on to the bola, which I actually didn't know they had in this game either, so it's cool for me to do all this research and see things. So this helps to stop dinosaurs and also people for 30 seconds. And it allows you to just literally stop them in their tracks and kind of paralyze them. So that's a cool item. Moving on to one of the cooler items, and one of the items I think you'll use a lot because it's just one of the best starting items, is the wooden bow. So it is crafted at level 15, costs 12 Ingram points, and it can actually fire multiple types of arrows, one being the stone arrow and the tranquilizer arrow. And the tranquilizer is used to tame your dinosaurs and inflicts torpor. So the wooden bow is actually one of your best options right off the bat, and it actually has the same damage as the compound bow, which I will get to later, unless you're using metal arrows, which can be quite expensive. So it's always a good option. Now moving on from that, we get to the crossbow, which is unlocked at level 25 and also costs 12 Ingram points. And it is crafted and repaired at the smithy, and it uses the same arrows as the bow, but inflicts more damage. But with that being said, it takes longer to shoot than the actual wooden bow, so that's one thing to keep in mind. And with this crossbow, you can actually use grappling hooks, which is a really cool feature if you want to scale up hills or mountains and cliff sides. Moving on to that, we're getting to the compound bow, which actually has a really good damage, but the compound bow is actually really expensive to craft. And if you use metal arrows, it has a damage of 202, which is almost 4 times as large as the wooden bow, but this is also not unlocked until level 70, so you got a lot of ways to go, and you'll probably have better firearms by then, which we're getting to next. So you can use stone arrows, tranquilizer arrows, and metal arrows, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but for the crossbow, stone arrows and tranquilizer arrows you can also use. So now, moving on to the firearms. The first one that I think is kind of I wouldn't craft it, but just because you have a lot of other options, is the simple pistol. So you will get access at level 30 to this item, and it costs 15 Ingram points to unlock in your crafting. And you actually have to craft along with all the firearms. You have to craft their bullets. So with this, you're using just a simple bullet. So it inflicts a damage of 63, so not very much higher than the stone bow and that stuff. So it has clip size of 6 bullets, like any revolver for the most part. Now moving on to one of the more useful firearms, I think at least, is actually the long neck rifle. So with this gun, you unlock it at level 35 and it costs 18 Ingram points, but the long neck rifle actually has a damage of 280, so this is one of the first ones that is getting up there for sure. And with it, you can use simple rifle ammo, and also you can use tranquilizer darts, which come really good when you're trying to tame a dinosaur that flies, and you have to actually hit it on the move a few times. And that'll help just keep things easy when you're doing that. So moving on to the shotgun, which is actually like a close range alternative for the long neck rifle. And this can actually do a ton of damage at 630 for really short encounters. But again, you have to have some pretty expensive resources to craft this, is along with most of the weapons. Now moving on to actually the most expensive weapons, which can take long times to craft, is the fabricated pistol. So this weapon is actually unlocked at level 50 using the fabricator. And even though it has like the lowest damage of any gun, it has the cheapest ammunition, so its damage is actually a 50. And you can shoot a lot of times because actually it's the largest clip size other than the assault rifle, which we'll be getting to. So it uses advanced bullets, which take a few resources like metal ingots and gunpowder, as much of the bullets do. So moving on to that, the fabricated pump action shotgun, which the pump action shotgun is actually unlocked at level 50, along with most of these guns are. And you craft it on the fabricator, and then you can't put any attachments on this gun. And I'm sorry if I mentioned it, but a lot of the other weapons you can put scopes and stuff, which we'll get to. So, this uses simple shotgun ammo, which is metal ingots and gunpowder again. Now moving on once again to another weapon. As you guys can see now, it's just getting lengthy and kind of repetitive, but with the assault rifle, it uses advanced rifle bullets, which it has a low damage, but it has a ton of bullets to shoot downrange. It actually has a damage of 30, so take with what you want there, but you can, it has a magazine size of 40, so with a full clip, you can actually do 1100 damage in just 5 seconds. So it sounds bad just because it has such a low damage, but the other factors for this weapon kind of bring it back. And this is unlocked at level 50 and also is crafted on the fabricator. Now moving on to one of the coolest bullets, or coolest not bullets, firearms. One of the most expensive, I think, is the fabricated sniper rifle. And it's semi-auto, and you actually don't unlock it until level 70, so it's getting up there too. And then it is unlocked for 36 Ingram points, and it can fire 8 rounds per reload, so it's semi-auto as I said. And its damage is 165, but all of these guns have a great multiplier if you're shooting for head, so keep that in mind as you're going along playing. Now moving on to the attachments. A few of them I will have screenshots, like the hollow scope and the actual sniper rifle scope, just so you guys can see how the reticules look. But starting off, we're on the flashlight. And this is like a replacement for the torch, but doesn't give you like heat. So if you're cold, you're still going to need your torch, but it can be crafted on the fabricator, and it unlocks at level 45 for 18 Ingram points. And it actually can attach to the simple pistol, the long neck rifle, the fabricated pistol, the assault rifle, the pump action shotgun, and the fabricated sniper rifle. So moving on from that, the hollow scope, which is unlocked at level 55 for 24 Ingram points and be crafted on the fabricator, is only what would you call it? able to be put on the fabricated pistol, the assault rifle, and the pump action shotgun. So moving on from that, right now on screen, I'm actually going to put a picture of just the reticle on the hollow scope. So if you see that right now, give you a few seconds just to look at it and see what you think of it. All right, now moving on to the laser, which is actually used for certain weapons. I think it's kind of cool. Not of great use, especially because then your opponent can really see you coming. It's unlocked at level 55 for 24 Ingram points, and along with everything else is crafted on the fabricator. So this can be compatible with the simple pistol, the long neck rifle, the fabricated pistol, the assault rifle, the pump action shotgun, and the fabricated sniper rifle. Now moving on to the scope, which is one of the more useful attachments, I think. So the scope allows you just to see farther, as you could probably have guessed. It is unlocked at level 30 for 13 Ingram points, and it is craftable on the smithy, and it is supported by the simple pistol, the long neck rifle, but that is only with the normal ammo, not the tranq darts, the fabricated pistol, and the pump action shotgun. Because it is not compatible with the fabricated sniper rifle because it comes with its own scope. But it does have the same reticule, as you can now see on screen. That is the reticule for the snipers in this game. So you can take with it what you want. If you like it, so be it. If you don't, it kind of sucks. And then you can always use iron sights, so it's not too bad. But some people actually prefer those because you can see a lot more when you're not in your scope and that stuff. Moving on to the last attachment, and the last item that we're actually going to be covering in this episode is the silencer attachment. And it allows you to reduce noise, so if you guys are ever going on a raid or something and you want to be stealthy, this is a good item. And it's actually compatible with the simple pistol, the long neck rifle, the fabricated pistol, the assault rifle, the actual pump action shotgun, which is a cool one, and the fabricated sniper rifle. But it will reduce damage slightly, which is just one thing to keep in mind. So, anyways, I'm just going to hop back to the ARC logo now. I hope you guys did go on to enjoy the episode. Hopefully the mic quality is okay and not too much rustling today. If you guys did go on to enjoy or you're liking the series, just leave a like down below. Comment what you'd like me to do next in the series. And I will see you guys in the next one.